I'm going to cut short. Let me quickly cut across to the Supreme Court proceedings. Listen in.
Put a flag.
Mr. Sibal neither says yes nor say no, but doesn't give, my lord. That's the stand he has adopted from the
You can
day
continue
one.
to say that. You can continue to say that. You will say,
Yes, my lord. It is a test
And
whether the state wants to come clean or still play hide and seek.
Please.
I don't know why my learned friend.
You know why I am saying.
I know why you are asking.
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen.
Wait.
Give a soft copy.
You hand over the compilation to us. Hand over the compilation.
Yes, compilation
No, you don't have it on your.
Give us.
We're locating the soft copy.
Whatever we have received, we'll file with our report.
What is that? What is that? Compilation.
List of dates.
This was the Calcutta petition.
Report, Mullah. Do you have a soft copy? If you can give it. Let's see if you have a soft copy.
Hard copy we have.
Here it is.
This is the inquest report.
This is the inquest report. This is it, Mullah.
We seem to be losing the audio, right? The proceedings that's underway with the Supreme Court observing clearly the failures on parts of the officials, the West Bengal government for not really ensuring that the case was expedited. Soon as they found out that there was rape and murder, the way, as per protocols, the investigation should have been carried out wasn't done. The court very clearly pointing out that there was a lapse in the way it was proceeded. In fact, the parents of the victim there was clearly told that their daughter had committed suicide. The court very pointedly asking, why was that misinformation shared with the family members? Who spread that information in the first place? And the Arjikar hospital principal, Sandeep, who in fact resigned and wanted to head out. He was placated by the West Bengal government, decided to actually reappoint him at another hospital. Questions being asked on that as well, on why he wasn't dismissed and sent on leave until the investigation was complete. Instead, he was placated and appointed as the head of another hospital. Questions asked about why the FIR was delayed by multiple hours. In fact, the body was found of that girl at around 10 a.m., but shockingly, the FIR was registered at 11:45 p.m. And the body was handed over to the family members at 8:30 p.m. So the obvious failure here is there are multiple hours of delay to file that FIR. A clear question by the Supreme Court asking why there was this unprecedented delay. In fact, the parents were told it was suicide. They were made to wait for 3 hours without actually having to see the body of their child. The court also pointing at that as to why the family members were made to wait for 3 long hours before they could actually see their daughter. All these questions need to be answered. The Kolkata government, of course, the West Bengal government have been given about 2 days' time to be submitting a report on the failures on the part of the Kolkata police. That report has to be submitted by Thursday. Even the CBI has been directed to submit a detailed report on the investigation by Thursday, on August 22nd. And of course, the National Task Force has been given 3 weeks' time to come up with an interim report on the modalities to ensure a safe working environment for doctors in India. Nalini Sharma, who's tracking court for us, also joining us for more on that. Nalini, do elaborate. So long the court read out this order as it takes suo motu cognizance on the case, pointing fingers at the West Bengal government, asking harsh questions on why there was a delay in ensuring strict action in dealing with the case right from the word go, and also setting up a national task force. Do elaborate.
Well, yes, Nabila, first of all, we would just like to update our viewers that the hearing is still underway before the Supreme Court right now. Currently, as we speak, the three-judge bench headed by the Chief Justice of India is going through the post-mortem report of the doctor victim in this case. So it remains to be seen what further observations come in from the three-judge bench after they've gone through the post-mortem report. But no doubt about that, the Supreme Court has stepped in, and stepped in how? Because they've made some very serious observations, not only with regard to the Kolkata case, but the condition of the doctors across the country. In fact, the Chief Justice of India has gone to the extent of saying that the doctors must have faith in the Supreme Court, which is why the Supreme Court has stepped in the first place to take matters into their own hands and ensure that doctors, especially women doctors across India, are safe. For that, there is a detailed set of guidelines that have been issued by the Supreme Court. They've also gone ahead and set up this national task force comprising of 8 to 9 eminent personalities who are going to look into the finer aspects of what measures can be brought in to ensure that the doctors feel safe while performing their duty. At the same time, the CBI has also been asked to file a status report within 2 days. The court is going to go through the status report and then decide what the future course of the investigation should be. But most importantly, some very pointed questions have been raised at Mamata Banerjee's government on how the matter was dealt with immediately after the incident came to light. Why were the parents not allowed to see the body? Why was there a delay in registration of the FIR? Why was it tried to pass off as a suicide by the hospital authorities? And most importantly, regarding the role of the principal itself, why was the principal appointed to another college? And why was he not sent on leave or suspended immediately? So some very pointed questions that Kapil Sibal as well as the West Bengal government, because Kapil Sibal is the lawyer for the West Bengal government for the Supreme Court, will have to answer. At the same time, the Solicitor General was also appearing before the Supreme Court, where he's also spoken about how there were some clear lapses by the West Bengal government. So a lot has to be answered. It remains to be seen what happens during the course of the hearing today and then on Thursday once the CBI files its status report.
You know, Nalini, it's excellent that the Supreme Court took suo motu cognizance in this case. Were there no appeals before the Supreme Court after this case happened on the Kolkata rape and murder surfaced? We know that doctors went on a nationwide strike. Were there any special appeals made before the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court paid attention to, or was it just suo motu cognizance based on the disappointment and the large-scale protests that we've witnessed across the nation?
So, well, right at the very outset, Nabila, the Chief Justice of India clarified why the Supreme Court has stepped in and taken suo motu cognizance, despite the fact that the Calcutta High Court was already hearing the matter and had even ordered the CBI probe in the matter. What the Chief Justice of India said is that this is not an incident that is now limited to Kolkata. Of course, it was a horrific and horrendous rape and murder that happened in Kolkata RG Kar Hospital. But the incident has led to wider protests all across the country to the extent that doctors in almost every state today are feeling unsafe. There are no proper facilities available for doctors across government hospitals in the country, irrespective of who the ruling government is, which is why it was important for the Supreme Court to step in to ensure that these protesting doctors can feel some sort of safety, can feel some sort of assurance that something is being done even for them, which is why the Supreme Court has stepped in, because it's now become a pan-India issue. It's not only limited to the Kolkata incident anymore. In fact, the Chief Justice of India also praised the High Court judges, said that the High Court was looking into the matter and they ensured that action happens by passing of the investigation to the CBI. But at the same time, because the issue has become much larger than just the Kolkata issue, it was crucial that the top court of the country stepped in and took matters into their own hands and made not only the West Bengal government, but all the governments across the country accountable and responsible for the kind of safety measures that are being provided to doctors who are overworked, underpaid, and also facing security concerns. So it's important that the Supreme Court steps in, which is why the Chief Justice of India, making an appeal to the doctors to go back to work, has also said, please trust us. We are working for you. We are trying to ensure that something is being done in this regard. Now, as to whether or not the doctors, especially the protesting doctors, are going to heave a sigh of relief because the Supreme Court has stepped in, and will they call off their protests? It's a question that still remains unanswered. But what also we need to see is what is the final order that comes in from the Supreme Court at the end of the day's hearing today. Because like I told you earlier, the hearing is